Hola, señores and señoritas, and I've been gone for years now. For actually like 6 months when I uploaded that Tony Watts video. Tony Watts doesn't get to return yet. Maybe next year. Keep your fingers crossed. I might get. Anyway, this spring I think I'm gonna be a little bit more free, so I'm gonna start. And I just got this new computer, so I'm gonna start uploading more videos. All right, so start my resurrection from, at least the channel's resurrection from the grave. I'm going to start with a top 10 best games of 2014, just to commemorate the good things that happened, and one of the best ways to tell a year is by its media. I'm lying, it's actually one of the worst ways. But some great media came out this year, and I honestly think it was a great year, so get that hair on my face, and let's start. Number 10 would have to be Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS. Now, I've only had this for about a week. Alright, so don't judge me entirely on this. But I think I've played Brawl, I played Melee. I did not play the original, but whatever. So I do have a history with the Smash Bros. Series, and I think this is a good installment, especially since it's now on the DSs. And I think it's a pretty just all around a good game. I think one of the flaws with this game is I think it has a lacking in stages and even in characters, even after you unlock them all. And I think the fact that it did sadly have to tone it down a little bit, so on the Wii U it's probably better. But I don't know, I'm not actually on the Wii U right now. I don't have a Wii U, so, yeah. Hold on. Alright, so, number 9. Number 9 is the Tales from the Borderlands series. Now, only one episode's gone out from now, but I can predict, hopefully, safely, that it will be one of the best games of 2015. Telltale makes consistently good games. I was not a big fan of Wolf Among Us, but it's just because of the whole style, and I wasn't a big fan of the whole theme of the thing. But I'm really big into Borderlands, and so this is like a match made in heaven for me, because I love Telltale and I love Borderlands, and I think the fact that they're going together is really good. Yeah, I think it's the reason why it's so low on the list is I think it does have some faults, and it's only the first episode, so I can't honestly say it's the greatest game ever. But yeah, I think it earns a good spot at number 9. Number 8. This is a tie. Now I want to quickly brief the rules here on number 8 because this is the first time it's going to be odd. I do allow ties up until level. This is the only time you'll have a tie. And you're also going to see that some of these games did not come out in 2014, and that is okay because here's the reason. I did not play like 10 games. I played barely 10 games that came out in 2014, and some of the games I didn't exactly enjoy enough to put on a top 10 list. So it would have been a top 5 list, and I really don't like those because they're really short. So this time not this time, but every year when I do this, I'm going to make it so that if this game came out 2 years ago, I can still put it on the list because I played it this year. Alright? If I play it this year, that's how it goes. Alright, so here's the tie. At number 8, you have a tie between Team Fortress 2 and Blacklight Retribution for the PS4. They're tied for two main reasons. A, I'm not a big fan on the whole online shooter kind of thing. And so it's honestly not my favorite genre, but I think these two are my favorites, and they're good. They're tied for another reason. Blacklight Retribution excels in the fun factor. Honestly, I have the most fun with Blacklight Retribution. But TF2 has the best in the quirkiness and an all-around enjoyability. Plus, I can play more with my friends with that. So while I can play Blacklight Retribution on my own, with having a lot of enjoyment, I can also get this relatively the same amount of enjoyment, but playing with my friends. And I think it's easy for me to control it because I have it with a controller, and I'm still kind of new to this whole PC setup. So, yep, I'm going for gold with this one. Gonna make everyone happy, putting it at number 8. That's like not gonna make everyone happy. Anyway, now on to number 7. Alright, I think that the best movie of all time is a tie between Nightmare Before Christmas, my shirt, it's kind of stretched out, and Aliens, which is totally two different sides of the spectrum, but both are good movies. They're really good movies. So I played, in my excitement, I played Alien Isolation, and honestly, it's really good. I think it has good horror. I think its crafting is good. I think it has a great survivor mode. I think it has some pretty good scares, and I think it captures the elements of the first and a little bit of the second movies. The reason why I put it low is because, at least not really low, it's like in the middle, but it's because I think some of these games outperform it, and I think I found more enjoyment from some of these other games, as well as the fact that this game had some flaws. Like, it was, okay, spoilers, after you first release the alien into the airlock, I thought pretty much it's the end of the game, right? No, there's the androids. Alright. Nope, there's an entire nest of aliens. It's an extremely long game, which is good if you're really into the stuff, which I am. I do like it, and I found many enjoyments from this game. And I do recommend it if you're an Aliens fan. I think it's going to be best if you are an Alien/Aliens fan. If you aren't, then if you're into horror, I suggest buying it anyways, but don't have the highest expectation of it unless you're a fan of this series. Alright, number 6. So as we close in on the top 5, I have something that came out not a long time ago, but a while ago, and is one of my favorite games of ever. I think it actually has one of my favorite characters in games. This is Portal 2. I did not play the original. I don't really plan to. I think, from what I've heard, Portal 2 is the better of the two. And it's not that I don't, and I personally don't care, but I judge a series on how the first game I played it on. So that's why I don't like playing Assassin's Creed, because I had a really bad time playing the first game. And so if I were to when I got in like 2012, if I were to do one back then, it would be on my top 10 worst games. And I'm not going to make one top 10 worst games because I really didn't hate 10 bad games. Nor back then, but whatever. Alright, so Portal 2 is down at 6 for, I think, although having fun puzzles, Wheatley is an awesome character, and so is GLaDOS. I think it fails in 2 things. Shell, I don't like her. I'm sorry, I don't like her. I think she's just silent, and I'm not big on the silent protagonist thing. Some people like it, some people don't. I don't like it. Like, I make exceptions for games like Skyrim, which I would put on this list, but technically I got it December of last year, which is technically 2014. December of 2013. Anyway. So, overall, Portal 2 makes it 6 because I think their shell's a pretty big flaw, and I think the co-op mode is too short. I love the co-op mode in that game, but I think it's too short. It's shorter than the main campaign. I think the whole shortness of the entire game is a problem. Alright, 5, midway point. Far Cry 4. Alright. This is a game people have been hating on. They say it's a copy of Far Cry 3. They say it's not as good as Far Cry 3. They say like Far Cry 3 and 2 are better. And I've played 2, although not as extensively as I have 3. I have to say I prefer 3 over 4, but I prefer 4 over 2. So that's why I put Far Cry. I did 4 at number 5. I think it has some cool characters. I think honestly its characters, some of them, I think its decisions are all. Although I think there's definitely, everyone has a rational side. I can't see someone being like totally crazy, and can't see someone being not crazy. I think even though Pagan Min isn't exactly in the bulk of the campaign, he's still on the radio. Not direct, but he radios you occasionally, and whenever he does, it's hilarious and awesome. I think the whole Ajay Gale is pretty cool, but I think he suffers from all Far Cry's thing. At least from the games I've played, they don't really have as much character development as, say, the other characters. I think the wildlife is much more advanced in this game. I think it definitely reminds me of Skyrim in a good way, and so I think it honestly belongs at the top on 5 spot. Now to 4. So this is gonna come as a shocker. This is honestly, I haven't played a Nintendo game that I owned since 2010. And the first game I played was Super Smash Bros., which made 10. But the second game I played is Pokemon Y, which makes number 4 spot. Yes, it beat Far Cry 4, people. Be amazed! And there's one reason. Far Cry 4 is great, but Pokemon Y is addictive. Honestly, I am addicted to that game. It's hard to pry yourself away from, and all you can put it away, but the second you jump back into that world, it's like Skyrim. It's hard for you to get out. It immerses you, and it makes every time you level up, it's a new thing. Like every time a Pokemon evolves, every time you catch a new Pokemon, every time you beat a gym, it's really satisfactory. The dopamine is running through you. This is really setting up a really good game, and I think Nintendo is stepping right back into the game with new Wii U games, and I think it's finally taking a stride again. It had this big rut for a few years, and I think finally the Wii U is starting to pay off, and the 3DS is getting another wave of really good games. Alright, so number 3. We're closing in. We're really close to my favorite game. But before we get there, we have to get to number 3. And that is The Walking Dead. Now, The Walking Dead Season 1, not Season 2. There's, of course, a reason for that, and I think Season 1's better because it actually is the only game to make me cry. Honestly, it's really sad. It's, tears coming from my mouth, because that's how I cry. It's what happens when you are so sad. You cry from your mouth. Yeah. Anyway. The Walking Dead is an amazing game. I highly recommend it. Why is it so high? Because I think I love Telltale's games, and this is the one that proved to me that Telltale was a great studio. So I think I owe a great deal of pleasure to this game, and I think that on the greatest thing, it's a great game. Plus, I love zombies. Plus, I love The Walking Dead, not the show, the comic. And so I think all around it's a great representation of how zombies should be portrayed. Number 2. This, as I said, I love the Borderlands series, so I got Tales for the Borderlands on here. But it's now time to have Borderlands 2. I haven't played the original, I give you that. But I have played Borderlands 2, and I think it was awesome. It opened the series to me. It not only is it funny, but it's interesting. It has a good weapon system. It's not entirely random how it drops. I feel its enemies are cool. I think the way that you can, I think the main characters are awesome. I think there are some lame ones, like the Gunzerker dude and the army kind of guy who's boring, but Maya and Zero are awesome. I think it's very easily playable. I honestly love this game. It's a barrel full of laughs. Great campaign. The boss fights are really cool. They kind of keep it arcade if you play with two on split screen. But I like that, and I think it's an awesome game all around. Now I'm going to go to my honorable mentions, because, some of the games that make the list, I think they maybe have a better chance. I don't know, I think they're good. Borderlands is a pre-sequel. Alright, this is a game that I think, honestly, could definitely get on the list. If it wasn't so chock-pile full of other great games. I think the reason why it isn't mainly off is because I already had 2 Borderlands games, Plus, I think I haven't quite played through the entirety of the game, and I think it's kind of short from what it's like not the longest of the games, which I don't know, could pull something like I thought Borderlands 2 was going to be relatively short, but no, it's actually more long. Alright. Next honorable mention, Injustice. It's a great fighting game. You can play superheroes, and there's going to be some pretty cool new superheroes. It's great for you to play with at a party. It was free on PS Plus. Awesome. Next, Fallout 3. Alright, I got this in the end. I literally got this like 2 days ago. And I didn't get quite the greatest chance to play it. But I think it is a great game from like the 15 seconds I got to play it. I actually get to play through like the first 3 missions, but whatever. So what's next on mission? Watch Dogs. I think it's it gave me pretty fun, but I think it just isn't. It doesn't have the pizzazz that other open world games have, and I think if you're gonna go for an open world game, you gotta have that pizzazz that open world games have, or it's just kind of hard. And finally, the final honorable mention goes to Destiny for actually being pretty entertaining, but not having a great story, and I think having some unfair stuff, some patches, and some pretty crazy outrage things. So it's an honorable mention in the sense that I think it should belong on the top 10 worst games of 2014, along with Watch Dogs, but I think they gave me pleasure, and that's what most of this thing's about. Alright, so what's my favorite game? Something that I can play again and again and always find the same amount of joy. Alright, drum roll. Yeah, I said drum roll. Alright, I'm not getting drum rolls, but the best game of 2014 is Infamous Second Son. Alright, hold on. Hold your applause/boos. The reason why I did this was this list, when it comes down to it, is what games did I favor the most? I think 90% of the thing is whether or not I liked the game. And then I find how much enjoyment did I find from this game. The rest 10% is coughing. With everything else. The graphics, everything else. But I think it aced 100%. It had great graphics. It played really well. It had a great open world. And to top it all off, I think it was honestly hard to pull myself away from. Like, it's one of those games, like Pokemon Y, that you need another game to pry yourself with. It's like, you have a barnacle. You're a whale, you have a barnacle. How do you get all this barnacle? You need another barnacle. It's friggin' weird. It's my favorite games. It's my favorite game of 2014. I highly recommend it. If you have a PS4, you must buy this game. If you don't, it sucks to be you, because it was really an awesome game. You could get it. It's a PS4 exclusive, and I would have put so I guess something that technically an honorable mention that I forgot to mention is Last of Us Remastered. I did not get to play this, but I already played Last of Us, and it was my favorite game of 2013, so technically I couldn't count that again. That would have just been unfair. So I hope you agree with me, and I'll see you sometime, hopefully this month. Bye-bye.